All right, guys, we are moving ever closer to the start of football season, and that means it is time to take a look at some of the more intriguing stories leading up to Week 1. I got Ross Benjamin with me today, and I want to take a look and talk about a team that I'm really looking forward to seeing this season, and that's Rex Ryan's Buffalo Bills. Now, they made a lot of offseason acquisitions, a lot of important pieces here and there, and that's what we're going to talk about today. First off, Ross, are you as excited to talk about these Bills and excited for this season to start as I am?
I absolutely am. It's a very intriguing product they're going to put on the field this year.
I absolutely agree. They got a lot of new pieces they've added in the hopes of maintaining the dominant defense they had last season and definitely needing a spark out of a very average offense that they put together last year. They look to earn a playoff berth for the first time in 15 years and really look to be heading in the right direction, I think, after a decade of losing seasons came to an end last year. But it's a long season, and while the Bills' schedule is not that grueling, it's no cakewalk either. So first I want to ask you this. How do you make a 9-7 team better without adding a franchise quarterback?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's probably the question that's been most asked in regards to the Bills this season in any kind of interview, whether it be with the national or the local media. And, here's the thing, Matt. You're looking at a team that added Charles Clay at tight end. You added LaShawn McCoy, a star running back who's proven over the years with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think they absolutely stole him in a trade from Philadelphia in which they gave away Kiko Alonso, who was out all of last season with a knee injury. So that adds a lot of punch to their offensive output. And then you're looking at the wide receiver position. You signed Percy Harvin to a one-year deal in the offseason, and all of a sudden now you have a trio of wide receivers that could who do you cover? Who do you double cover in that trio when you have Percy Harvin, Sammy Watkins, and Robert Woods? I mean, they have all the makings of a dynamic offense. Whoever wins this quarterback job, Matt, all they're going to be asked to do is protect the football, get the ball to playmakers, don't make mistakes, and there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the running game in Greg Roman's, the new offensive coordinator, scheme. And Rex Ryan, as you know, he loves that ground and pound.
Absolutely. Now, like you brought up, they made a lot of good moves, and I think that really helped Sammy Watkins out the most, in my opinion. Like you brought up, he's not going to be double covered all the time. They're going to have a lot of really good wide receivers to contend with. And, I kind of was a little down on their quarterback situation. But, look, Matt Castle's a very solid quarterback, in my opinion. He's had 2 seasons where he's went over 10-5 or 10-5 or over. Granted, they might have been with a bit different squads than they have here. But I think they really did certainly make some win-now moves on the offense.
Well, he went 10-5 with a Kansas City club to qualify for the playoffs. Actually, that team went 11-5. And I could venture to say the talent level on this current roster of the Buffalo Bills for this upcoming season far exceeds the talent level he had with Kansas City. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle come training camp. You have him, you have E.J. Manuel, the former first-round choice in 2013, who is pretty much underwhelmed in his 14 starts so far in the NFL, albeit I don't think he was given a fair shake, and he was playing under a lot of restrictions under Doug Marrone. And then you have an enigma in Tyrod Taylor. This is a guy that Rex Ryan has really coveted, even in his days with the Jets. I mean, if you look at Greg Roman, the new offensive coordinator, and what he did with Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco, albeit last year wasn't a very successful run, but Kaepernick did get him to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. You see a very similar type quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. Arguably, this is the fastest in the 40-yard dash times of any NFL quarterback in all of football, and he has a very underrated arm. The question mark comes with Taylor as he spent 4 years as a backup behind Joe Flacco, and he has very limited experience. Whoever gets the nod here is going to be under some pressure to not win games, but just not lose them, Matt.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to take a little swing over to the defensive side, which is really, to me, a bit more compelling story as far as the Bills go. Now, they had an excellent defense last year. They ranked first in takeaways with 30 on the year, and they really just terrorized quarterbacks under Jim Schwartz. One can only imagine how much more terror they will rain on opposing quarterbacks now that Rex Ryan is the coach.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody who's followed the NFL knows, you could say a lot of things about Rex Ryan, but you certainly can't doubt his defensive mindset. This guy is one of the most brilliant defensive minds in all of football. Look, his tenure with the Jets, they finished no lower than 11th in the NFL in total defense. And you can make an argument here. This may be the best talented defense he's had from top to bottom, including quality depth that he's ever had, even in his time with the Jets when they made two consecutive runs to the AFC Championship game. I mean, you look at their front four. The three of the four defensive linemen have been to the Pro Bowl the last 2 seasons. Marcel Darius, Kyle Williams, Mario Williams, and then you have the other one, Jerry Hughes, who's recorded 10 sacks in each of the previous 2 seasons. They just signed him to a lucrative offseason deal, and he hasn't even reached the Pro Bowl yet. So, you know, this shapes up to be one heck of a defense. They had 54 sacks a year ago, which ranked number 1 in the NFL, 30 takeaways, which was 3rd best in the NFL. And then you go back 2 seasons ago, they had 56 sacks under current head coach and then defensive coordinator Mike Pettin, who also ran a similar defense to what we'll see with Rex Ryan and the Bills this season. So a lot to look forward to as far as Buffalo Bills defensive prowess coming into this 2015 season.
All right, Ross, there's absolutely a lot of new and exciting faces coming into Buffalo this season. I know that we both expect them to have a bit better of a year than they did last year, but we're going to take care of that in our follow-up video, focusing on the futures for the Buffalo Bills and, you know, where we think they're going to end up at the end of the season. I want to thank you for coming on, and guys, remember, we're here all off-season covering the NFL for you right here at sportsbookreview.com.